There we go. Hello, Karen Creighton here. Now, I have got a few notes written because there's so much that I want to share with you. And so I had to do that. And let's face it, because if you've been in my world for even a short period of time, I can go off on a tangent. And you know how I love a good tangent. So I just wanted to jump in live today so that we can share what's going on with our Turn Back the Clock challenge, which officially kicks off on Tuesday, April the 7th. So there's a few days to go. So I just really wanted to go through a few bits and pieces so that we can literally go through any questions that you may have. Hi, Pauline. Good to see you. Okay, let's just consult my notes. So if you are already in our network, or you might be sitting on the fence, and I know some of you sit on the fence, and so this is a chance for you to ask questions, maybe get excited a bit, and know that we've got you fully supported. So there is so much information that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So this is why we decided to do it live, because let's face it, it's quite good fun to do live, isn't it? Okay, so first up, what is the challenge all about? Well, many of you might be thinking that this is just a weight loss challenge. Well, yes, you can drop weight with this, but it's really all about healing, energy, clarity, vitality, and transformation. So it's also about releasing other weight. And so basically, if we look at the weights we carry on our shoulders, so we can carry all of that weight. So physically, emotional, energetic weight, we are going to be working our way through releasing ourselves from the burdens that we carry in this world. Hi, Michelle. Nice to see you. And so basically, this is what this program is designed to meet you at where you are at. So we have beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And I'll go into that a little bit in a minute. So we also, if you've been receiving the emails from the network, you will have already received the food lists. And so we've got 2 food lists to choose from, low inflammatory and carnivore. So they've been sent in emails, I think. You've definitely had the low inflammatory. You might not have had the carnivore one yet. But basically, it's pretty simple. But if you haven't been on a keto or low inflammatory program before, I encourage you to start with the low inflammatory, and then we're going to be sharing how to go from carbivore to carnivore. And I've got a book nearly ripe for releasing soon that will take you through that too. So you'll get the food lists in emails, and it'll also be in the Food and Frequency Network in the files. So you'll get them there. But I really encourage you to print them off and save them somewhere visible so that you can see what foods to keep to. Now, this is vital. Whether you are on the carnivore or the low inflammatory, whether you want to let go of weight or not, the reason this is so exciting is because I know that after 15 years of working with this list and changing it slightly, that results can be spectacular. So you can really, really work on releasing weight. You can really work on balancing your hormones. You can really work on balancing your emotional well-being. You can release all sorts of ailments just by shifting your diet over a period of time. And the reason we decided to do 6 months is to turn back the clock, because let's face it, who doesn't want to feel younger? We might not look 20 or 30 years younger, but you never know. After the end of 6 months, you might look 5, 10 years younger. We just don't know. But the potentiality is there. And so, right, okay, let me just consult my notes. So, right, what we're going to be including in the challenge. So, this is much more than food. Now, we know that food is a vital, vital component of our health, because let's face it, we are what we eat. And as Plato said, I think it's Plato or Socrates, one of those, basically, food is thy medicine and medicine is thy food. Honestly, we've got so far away from that. Now we have to take it back. So we're turning back the clock, not just in our physical body, we're turning back the clock to using some of the old traditional ways of getting abundant health. So over the next few months, we're going to be exploring, we're going to be doing bowel cleansing. We're going to be doing kidney and liver detox options. All of these are optional. And we're also going to be doing, if you choose, some fasting techniques. So for those of you who don't know, I've been fortunate enough to be working in this industry for 4 decades now. And in the 1990s, I specialized in fasting and regeneration, and also allergy testing, which is where the low inflammatory food list originally came from. It's foods that seldom came up on an allergy test. And so that is why it's so important. So thank you, Bryony, for sharing the quote. Is from Hippocrates. So excellent. Thank you. I knew someone would know. So it's brilliant. And so we're going to be going through fasting and stem cell activation. We're also going to go into movement and exercise ideas that will work for everyone. So there'll be things to choose from. So we're not just going to be doing one size fits all. You are going to be you're going to be allowing yourself to choose where you fit in the whole thing. So we're also going to be going through some mindset tools. We've already started in the network. And so Tristan has been sharing his wisdom. Jackie has been sharing her wisdom, and Joe, and so many wonderful, wonderful members have been sharing their experiences in their field. And so let's face it, there's some amazing, amazing people who can really, really help us step into our best life, our best body. So we're going to be going through mindset tools, meditations, journaling, and also nervous system support. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to have weekly workshops, theme days, and team calls. So we were going to have a competition, but now we're not doing teams per se, but we are going, the people who stood up and said, I want to be a team leader, are actually going to be our supporters in the network, and we will be rewarding them as we go forward. But we're also, instead of what was going to be a grand prize at the end of the 6 months, we are going to be doing monthly prizes. So participation and rewards for getting to goals and to achieving weekly targets and weekly achievements. So that doesn't mean that you have to let go of lots of weight. It means that you've actually done what you said you were going to do. And so we're also got some optional tools. And I have to reiterate, these tools I'm going to talk about are optional. So all of the information, the workshops and the theme days and everything else are included in our Food and Frequencies network, which is only $44 a month. You're getting all of that for $44 a month. And oh my gosh, it's such great value. And so, okay, So these optional tools we've been talking about LifeWave patches, which are absolutely amazing. They stimulate our stem cells on a consistent basis so that we can regenerate really quickly. We've talked about that in another video, so I'm not going to go into that right now. We also had a lovely Kerry Dell who joined us for a workshop last Wednesday. She took us through a test that she has offered to our members for a really, really reasonable rate. So basically that quantum test, it tests the body for imbalances. So if something's too high or too low, it'll show you up in the test. And so we're recommending, if you choose to take advantage of a really special offer that Kerry has offered our members, to have a marker for when you get started. And so basically, if you have that marker, you can see where your vitamins and minerals are slightly out of kilter, or where your liver isn't functioning at 100%, or kidneys, vice versa. So basically, if you look at that, we can really, really have a look. And then we've got a before and after. So you could have a test at the beginning. And if you feel in the middle, I want to see how I'm going, because you will feel it though, so you don't necessarily have to do that. But it's great to see where you can really focus. So basically, if you look at your test and you go, oh, my liver is slightly out of kilter, or my enzymes are slightly out of kilter, or fill in the blank, we can really focus in on that. And so you can choose then. Then you can prioritize what you want to work on. I hope this is making sense. And thank you, Pauline. Karen helped me 20 years ago with my allergies and toxicity. Guess, blimey, 20 years ago. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Okay, so these are, and also, so that's the LifeWave patches, the quantum test, and also I have products from my Fast Track to Health program, which I'm rejigging at this present moment in time. However, these are 100% optional. This challenge can be done with anyone on any budget. Honestly, you will be amazed at what you can achieve with just using food and a few other bits and pieces that we're going to talk to you about. So there's a huge amount of information that I have gathered and others have gathered over the years that we're going to be sharing with you, that you can do at home, and often with things that are in your pantry already or easily accessible from your local shop. And so what I really would like to encourage you is to get started. Honestly, we're not going to be going, you need to be perfect, because we all have, in 6 months, let's face it, we all have things going on in our lives. And we really want to set the scene for this program. Is basically, it's what you do regularly that makes all the difference to your health. So I'm going to say to you is, if you can stick to the low inflammatory food list, even if you commit to going to carnivore and you go, right, this week, so say week 7, I've got a really busy week coming up, I've got a lot of social events, and you're in the intermediate level, you can take yourself down to the beginner's level. You'll still get the results. But if you do that, then you give yourself permission to just enjoy or cope with the week. I hope that makes sense, because it's a really challenging one for me to really explain, because we've decided to do beginners, intermediate, and advanced because we wanted to meet you where you're at right now. And so that also includes where you're at within the program. So so everyone will be at their own pace in this. And so we want to make sure that we're helping you meet you where you're at and where your goals are at. So everyone will move at their own pace. And the key is progress over perfection. And so we also have our live calls. So each week we have a live call, and also we've got an amazing community here, and everyone is really supportive, answers questions. We've got the Facebook group, which is great. We also are introducing a blog coming very soon, and so we can share everything together. So I'm joining, and I'm just going to. So there's a few things that I'm just going to go through what you need to do before we get started. So get the email with the food lists. If you haven't joined already, you will get that. So don't worry about it. It's in hand. And so if you haven't joined the Food and Frequency Network and you're on the fence, maybe jump on. So you can choose your level, as I said, beginner, intermediate, advanced. So what does that mean? So basically, beginner is for those who have never tried a program like this before. If you've not been doing keto, if you've just come from wanting to make changes but not sure how to do it. And so this is the beginners. And you might find, most will, that you start with beginners for a few weeks and you ease yourself into it, and then you go, ooh, I just think I might have a look at what intermediate is. And then you might decide to choose some of those. So intermediate is for those of you who have done keto, already done maybe my program Fast Track to Health, or done something similar. So basically we will be ramping things up just slightly so that you have challenges. So we're going to challenge you. So we're going to get a few detox options, and we're going to be doing that. And then we've got advanced. So advanced is for my beautiful community or for those who have done a lot of fasting, or done fasting and had experience in fasting, or been on my Ultimate Detox. And so Ultimate Detox basically is Fast Track to Health, but with various different strategies to really, really amplify the results. And so that's what we're going to be doing with the intermediate, really. And then the advanced is ramping that up even more. I hope that makes sense. So anyone, if you've got any questions in the comments, please ask me. So also I would like you to do is, if you've signed up already, is take before photos. Now, I know before photos can be a real challenge. I know when I first started and created my program, I didn't know it was going to work, by the way. I hated being in front of the camera. I hated looking at myself in the mirror. And basically, I know before photos were just not an option for me. And I really, really wish I had them, because taking photos, close up, that didn't want to come, close up ones of your face, and also one of full body, front, side, and if you can, back, because basically it's really an important component of measuring. So measuring is important. So also, we need to take your weight. So the weight on the morning of Tuesday, the 7th of April, is your starting weight. And we have also got sheets for you to fill in, so that you've got that for yourself. Measurements. So I recommend that you measure the top of your arm, just up here, bust for women, chest for men, under bust, of course, for women, waist at your narrowest part, hips at the widest part, top of the thighs, both sides, because basically it's it really makes a big difference, because you'll find different sizes on both sides, top of both knees and calves. And yes, you can let go of weight on calves. I was really gobsmacked when I didn't do measurements. Again, I wish I had. when a pair of my favorite boots that used to be tight became very, very baggy. So that's why I started measuring clients at the time. And gosh, the results were amazing when you added up all of the different measurements that you'd lost, let go of. And also, I encourage you to write down every single symptom that you might have right here, right now. You might be suffering with aches and pains. I want you to write down where those aches and pains are. If you're suffering with bloating, write it down. If you suffer with headaches, write it down. If your hair's falling out, write it down. I really want you to be really, really concise about this. And the reason is when we are letting go of symptoms, we tend to forget. As an example, one of many clients used to come to me and we used to do consultations sort of 2 months down the track or whatever. And I used to say, okay, how are you doing? And they used to say, all right. And I said, okay, so what's changed? And they used to go, nothing much really. And I used to look at my client notes, because I used to take client notes. And I used to say, okay, how's your shoulder? How's the pain in your shoulder? And they went, oh, that's gone. And then I used to say, okay, so how often are you getting headaches? And they go, I don't have headaches anymore. So we forget. And it's actually probably a blessing that we actually forget these things. And so that's what I think is a really important step. So taking photos, measuring your weight, and weighing yourself daily. I know getting on the scales can be such a challenge, but just think of it as a tool for you to see if everything's working. Because if your weight, and you have weight to let go of, if your weight isn't going down, then we know then that something isn't working quite right. And so that is what I will be going through as we go forward. And so I also encourage everyone is to set out a big, bold, 6-month audacious goal. So I've got my goals. So my goals are to let go of 2 kilos, which won't be too hard, and also to really, really amp up my energy. And I've got a list of things that I'm going to be working through, and I want you to have a list of things that you're going to be working through too. You do not have to share them with everyone. You can if you wish, and I really encourage you, because that way accountability is really good, but you don't have to. It's not a prerequisite. And so whether you're prepped and ready to go or still on the, oh my goodness, where do I start space? Well, you're not behind. You're not alone. You also might still be on the fence and saying to yourself, do I really want to commit to 6 months? Well, as you know, 6 months goes by really quickly. After all, we're 3 months into 2025, and I don't know about you, it has flown by. So just imagine what 6 months could be, in 6 months' time. And you do this program, you will look back and go, wow, I am so different. I am such a different person. And I think that's where I'm definitely heading. And I don't know about you. And so if you're on the fence, also, I would say, is you can opt out at any time. We're not going to hold you here if you're not wanting to, you're not enjoying the process. We're all doing this together. So Deb and I are both jumping on with both feet and grabbing this opportunity to go, right, in 6 months' time, I am going to be fill in the blank, energized. I'm going to be feeling amazing in my own skin. And I'm going to look in the mirror and go, wow, I am transformed. And we want that for you. So we're doing this together, basically, at your pace, with options for every budget, at every level of experience, and also no matter where you are in your lifetime, in your span. So whether you're 20, 50, 60, 80, this can really, really help. And so if you haven't joined the network yet, now's the perfect time. Come in, say hello, grab the food lists, and just take that first step. Because honestly, your future self is waiting. She might be lighter, brighter, calmer, and more in control of her health. And she's cheering you from the other side. Right, let's have a look at a few questions. So Deb, I love that. This is Deb's affirmation. I want to be lean, toned, strong, and pain-free. My skin will be glowing, dewy, and hydrated. Love, love, love that. Okay, so Freya Pauline, keto doesn't agree with me. Do I skip keto? With the program, the food list is keto, but it's not a traditional keto list. So what you can do is you try the food list. I recommend intermittent fasting as well. However, there are options, but I would recommend starting with the low inflammatory food list and see how you go. I'm here on a Wednesday afternoon. Well, I'm not here. I'm on Zoom, where you can have a chat with me one-on-one. If you're a member of the network, it's a weekly thing I offer. So between 3 and 6 on a Wednesday, you can have a chat with me one-on-one. You just have to sit in the waiting room until it's your turn, and then you come in and we have a chat. And so we can actually sort of fine-tune things for you. So we're trying to meet everyone where they're at. And so, Michelle, it isn't about skipping keto. It's about keeping in ketosis, because keto has so many different options. Whereas with the food list, by sticking to a food list that is low inflammatory, that is healthy, and it actually, believe it or not, is so satisfying because it's covers all of the nutrition that you need, more or less. And there's a few things I'm going to get everyone to do too, because there might be a reason why you don't suit keto. So that's something we can cover. So Gillian, great question. Can you switch between low carb, as in the low inflammatory food list, and carnivore from day to day? Or are we best to stick one for a longer period of time? That's a really great question and quite an interesting one. So basically, I recommend, if you choose to go carnivore, and I would actually suggest, if you're coming from a standard Western diet, is you do that gradually. But once you've committed to a carnivore way of living and you're wanting to let go of weight, I would recommend you stay in carnivore for at least a couple of weeks to get everything into balance. And then by the scales, you can see if it's actually working and how you're feeling. And then you can choose maybe to add in a couple of vegetables at the weekend. So it is actually a way of, and you use the low inflammatory food list. So, yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Gillian, because basically I recommend, if you can, stick to the carnivore for a period of time. Now, what often clients do is they stick to the carnivore diet during the week, once they've established how they're going, say for a couple of weeks, and then they choose to stay on carnivore during the week, and then at weekends they choose to have a few vegetables and things. And so so if we look at the keto diet, like Pauline, you suggest it's the high dairy content that your body can't handle. Yeah. So the low inflammatory food list does not contain dairy, because dairy is probably the third most prolific allergy on the allergy marker. So the main one is grains, the second one's soy, and dairy is the third. So we recommend coming off dairy for a period of time anyway, for at least 6 weeks. And then we can get you to introduce it if you choose to see how your body reacts. So what I've found over the years of working with clients with this program, because we get you to sort of introduce foods in a specific way when you start introducing other foods. And what I found with one of my clients was this was before I did that. So she let go of 23 kilos, I think it was, over a period of time. And then I used to say, right, just here you are. Here's the new list. Fill your boots. Just go ahead and do it. So she went from doing 2 meals a day to doing 3. And she put on 2.2, I think it was over 2 kilos overnight. And she phoned me in a panic. And we went into what she'd eaten. And the 3 things that she'd really introduced were cream, yogurt, and cheese. So what I got her to do was go back on the low inflammatory food list. And then I got her to introduce, after 3 or 4 days, her weight had gone completely down to what it was, the baseline. And then she introduced yogurt, no problem. Then she introduced cream, no problem. So that's how we use our weight as a tool for this. And then what happened is she introduced 1 cheese and her weight skyrocketed again. And so again, she waited 4 days. And then I got her to test out different cheeses. And the interesting thing for her was that she was fine with all cheeses apart from brie and camembert. And it happened to be brie that she'd introduced that first day. But it was wonderful for me as a practitioner because it really helped me define the second phase with food. Because when we take out inflammatory foods for a period of time, it takes off a level of stress, because many foods can cause stress. And then we can really find, when we've let go of that for the 6 weeks or so, and then we start introducing a new food, then the scales, if your body reacts to it, as in if it's causing an inflammatory process, it shows on the scales first before it shows up in your body. So that's why we use the bathroom scales as a tool. So that was quite a long explanation for quite a short question, but hopefully that covers it and the reason why we get you to do certain things. So Gillian, if you can't get organic apples, is it okay to wash non-organic apples in apple cider vinegar? Right. Okay. So the reason I say organic apples is because I know that the chemicals and everything that they use throughout the growing process can be actually quite toxic. So although they do coatings on non-organic apples, there's also other things that they use. So for me, when I used to eat apples, I used to get like a lock jaw. My jaw used to just lock when I had non-organic apples, whether it was washed in apple cider vinegar or not. So if you can, just have organic apples and just eat fruit in season. And there's a real reason behind that, because anyway, I won't go into that now because that's going into real depth and everything else. So for now, I don't think there's any more questions that I haven't answered. And so basically, if you have other questions, please ask the questions underneath this video, and I'm sure lots will come up. But I really would love to see you in the network, because let's create the future self that you know is inside you. You know you can access more energy. Like, I have quite high energy, but I know there's more inside of me, and that's what I want. A constant state of improvement. And I would love for you to be in the state of a constant state of improvement. And so let's turn back the clock together. I hope this helps. And so I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope you are too, because I think that this is an important component of being the best we can be, being strong and resilient, because we know this world is changing. And if we can be in our physical body, emotional body, our spiritual body, strong, resilient, and then we don't get affected so much by the mad stuff that's going on in the outside world. And so this, my lovelies, is the introduction to our Turn Back the Clock program. And I am so looking forward to seeing you on the other side. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now. Deb, I hope you're here and you can turn this off.